Feel the ground beneath you, the chair you're sitting in, the phone in your hand. You can feel it, right? Solid, real, there. Now, what if I told you that in your entire life, from the moment you were born to right now, you have never actually touched a single thing? Not the ground, not your phone, not your mother's hand when she held you for the first time. No human has ever touched anything, and the reason why is one of the strangest facts in all of physics. To understand why you've never touched anything, you need to understand what everything is made of. You, this screen, the air between you and it, all of it is atoms. And atoms are almost entirely empty space. If you took a single atom and blew it up to the size of a football stadium, the nucleus, the solid part, would be the size of a marble sitting on the 50-yard line. Everything else? Empty. Nothing there. The electrons orbiting that nucleus are so small and so far away that the atom is 99.999999% nothing. That means the chair you're sitting on right now is 99.99999% empty space. Two objects that are almost entirely nothing are pretending to be solid against each other. So why don't you fall through the chair? Why does anything feel solid at all? The answer was discovered in 1925 by an Austrian physicist named Wolfgang Pauli. It earned him the Nobel Prize. And it changes everything you think you know about the physical world. When your hand moves toward a surface, the atoms in your skin get close to the atoms in that surface, and as they approach, the electron clouds around each atom begin to overlap. Electrons are negatively charged. Negative repels negative. So the closer your atoms get to the surface, the stronger the repulsive force between them becomes. This force is enormous. It increases exponentially as distance decreases, and it stops your hand roughly 1 angstrom away from the surface. That's 0.1 nanometers, 1/10,000,000th of a meter. Your hand gets that close, and then it hovers. It never closes the gap. What you feel as touch is actually electromagnetic repulsion between electron clouds pushing back against your nerve endings. Your nerves interpret that resistance as contact. Your brain registers it as touch. But at no point did any part of you actually make contact with anything. Think about every handshake you've ever had, every hug. Every time you held someone's hand and felt that warmth. What you felt was real, the warmth, the pressure, the emotion. But the physical contact, that was an illusion. When you hold someone's hand, trillions of electrons in your skin are pushing against trillions of electrons in their skin. The force is real, the sensation is real, the physical contact is not. In 2012, physicist Al-Khalili at the University of Surrey explained it this way in a public lecture. He held up two magnets with the same poles facing each other. You can feel the resistance, you can feel them pushing apart, but they never touch. That's exactly what's happening between your hand and everything you've ever held. Right now, you are not sitting on your chair. You are levitating above it at a height of roughly 1/10,000,000th of a meter. You are floating on a cushion of electromagnetic force so thin that your nervous system could never detect the difference. But the gap is there. It has always been there. You have been hovering your entire life. Every step you've ever taken, you were floating above the ground. You've never touched the sidewalk. You've never touched the floor of your childhood home. You've never been in contact with the Earth's surface. No human in the 300,000-year history of our species has ever touched the planet they live on. So if atoms are 99.99999% empty space, and the remaining fraction never actually contacts anything else, then what is solid? What does that word even mean? Physicist Richard Feynman addressed this directly in his legendary Caltech lectures in the 1960s. He said that if you tried to shrink down and walk through a wall, there would technically be nothing solid to stop you. What stops you is force, not matter, not substance, just electromagnetic force doing an incredibly convincing impression of a solid barrier. The wall is not solid. Your hand is not solid. The floor beneath you is not solid. When you bite into an apple, your teeth don't touch the apple. The electromagnetic repulsion between the electron clouds in your teeth and the electron clouds in the apple is what breaks the apple apart. You're not biting through it. You're applying enough electromagnetic force to overcome the bonds holding the apple's molecules together. The apple breaks, but your teeth and the apple never make contact. Every meal you've ever eaten, every sip of water, the water never touched your lips. It hovered above them while electromagnetic force convinced your brain otherwise. Here's what makes this more than just a physics fact. If you've never touched anything, then what is connection? When you hug someone you love and feel their warmth and their heartbeat and the weight of their body against yours, what is that if not contact? It's force, trillions of electrons pushing against each other with just enough resistance to create the sensation of closeness. And somehow, through that invisible resistance, through that gap so small no microscope on Earth can photograph it, you still feel love, you still feel safe, you still feel held. The universe built a rule that says no two pieces of matter can ever touch. And humans figured out how to feel connected anyway, not by breaking the rule, but by building something real on top of it. Warmth, pressure, presence, that's close enough to make the gap disappear. That might be the most human thing about us, not that we touch, but that the universe gave us no way to truly touch anything, and we found a way to feel it anyway. Every surface you've ever felt, every person you've ever held, every time you reached out and believed you made contact with something real. You were separated by a gap so small that nothing on Earth can photograph it, but it was always there, between your fingers and theirs, between your feet and the ground, between you and everything. You have never touched anything in your life, and everything you've ever felt was real.